Give me a minute. I want to address 34 Sava's comment here. Can you address the Hamas-Israel war? What is your opinion? And in the comments, I responded that I'm solely focused on Ukraine. And that felt very unsatisfying a response to give. And so I wanted to take a minute and talk about it. I am not a geopolitical expert. I personally think that the two-state solution is what is needed for the Palestinians and for long-term peace in the region. Now, that's my opinion. And sure, there's a lot of reasons for it. We could talk about it for a long time. And there's a lot of nuance there. But when the war broke out in Israel, I did not change my focus. My focus has been Ukraine and will continue to be Ukraine. Now, I'm a person who could pick up and leave my life in the United States and come to Ukraine to do this. Could I have just as easily have gone to Israel? Yes. Why haven't I? Why have I stayed here? That's the question for me that's more important. It is not that the conflict in Israel is less important. I wouldn't say that. It's a critical conflict in the world. But it is not a 1,000-kilometer long front line in Europe that threatens to destabilize Europe. It won't lead, the conflict in Israel and Palestine will not lead to a destabilization and new fascist regimes marching across Europe. That could happen here. If we pull out, if Ukraine falls, Russia gets the resources of this nation, they become unstoppable. This is the line in the sand that must be drawn against this incursion. And that's why I stay here. You know, I've been here 10 months now. I've learned a lot. And I'm in a position to communicate to my fellow Americans what's really happening here on the ground in real time in a way that I could never do justice to either side in the Middle East conflict. My heart goes out to everybody on both sides of that. Not to Hamas, obviously. Hamas is a terrorist organization that needs to be taken out of the picture. A two-state solution should be found. That, I think, the failure to find a real two-state solution there is the problem. And the Palestinian people should be freed from occupation. Also, the Israelis should have security guarantees, and their right to exist should be acknowledged. And then beyond that, there's a ton of nuance and the blame game, and I don't want to get into any of that. For my part of it, while the future generations and their lives in Palestine, what their lives will look like may be on the line in the conflict in the Middle East, here in Ukraine, what's on the line are the lives and the opportunities of probably the next 3 generations of Europeans and Central Asians. Billions of people. A large percentage of global prosperity and global GDP. The establishment and the preservation of the rules-based order of international commerce, trade, and diplomacy that has been the hallmark of the post-World War II prosperity, which is currently threatened badly by Russia's hypocrisy and flaunting of the rules. And that's why I think the long-term implications of the war in Ukraine and the absolute necessity of Russia's defeat, since I can only be in one place at one time doing one thing, That's why I'm here. And I hope that that's a more satisfying answer than I gave you in the comments. Thanks, 34 Asava.